What's cracking YouTube? Welcome back to another episode. Now, last week we did our first surreal photography picture week, and that turned out something a little like this. Like I said in the video, I was going to show you guys how to edit it, and you guys in the comments definitely wanted to see how I went about making this effect. So it got me thinking, instead of this week just making an editing video on that particular picture that I've done, why don't I go through some of my older pictures that I've got and see if we can incorporate this light into landscape photography. This might help you guys out a little bit more. Now I'm going to rush through. I don't want to try and make a really long 20-minute in-depth tutorial. I want to make a nice and quick one so you guys can just get the point, get out there and start doing your thing. So the image I'm using is this one here. I took this last year in Switzerland, and it's got a nice eerie look to it, which I thought that kind of orb light will work perfectly with this kind of image. So it's so simple, and you're going to be shocked how simple it is, or you might not be shocked. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to kind of separate some of the background with the foreground so that we can put the light behind some of the objects, because if it's just in front it looks so easy to do. We kind of want to hide it behind the background. So I just like to do this real quick. So I'll go up here and we've got the quick select tool, and we've got the magic wand tool. Let's just use a quick select tool. Just simply select some of the bush here. This is a terrible way of doing it. Now if you really want to do it properly, it'd be best to, zoom in on the image and probably use a pen tool. And what we'll do is we'll just like select around the area we want it, try and make it look like it's kind of leaves. I'm just going to do this very, very quickly because I don't want this tutorial to be 25 minutes long. That is the worst selection I've ever seen, but oh well, that's what we're dealing with, right? So what we need to do now is head up to edit, and we're going to hit copy. We want to make a new layer over here, so let's click on new layer here at the bottom, and now we're going to go back to edit and we're going to paste. So what we need to do now is create that orb, right, that light. So what I like to do is head over to the left, and we're going to select one of the shape tools. Let's just stick with the ellipse, and at the top you want to follow my kind of steps, what I've got here. So at the top here I've got selected shape, not path or pixels. I've got shape selected, and I've got a line through the fill, I've got a stroke, and I tend to have about 60 px in size. Straight stroke line type there, and then 0, 0, 0. And now what I want to do is just grab corner here and just create my circle. As you can see, and when I let go, it's going to look like a mess. So what you might need to do is just grab your picker here, your little arrow thing, and move where you want it to be till it looks more legitimate to you. Okay, so if you wanted to make that look a little bit better, you should have selected it better in the first place. I'm terrible, I'm an amateur, so it's just terrible. Let's go into affecting the actual light so it stands out and looks more like a glowing orb, right? So let's click on the actual layer itself over here, double click it, and we'll get all these settings here. First of all, let's go to outer glow. Now you notice the glow's already popped out pretty nicely there and added a realistic light. That's because the settings I've already got from my previous settings. So let's have a look at these. You want to set your blend mode to screen, opacity to 100%, noise on 0. You can change that to whatever color you want the ring to be. Technique, you want to put that to softer. Spread 9%, size 250, range 100. It was on the screen. You could have just stopped and paused the video, but maybe you're looking at your screen right now, you need to hear my voice. Who knows? I also like to add a drop shadow sometimes. If you notice, when I added this drop shadow now, it added a bigger aura of light around it, and I kind of like that. And here's my settings for that. So I've got that set to screen as well. I've changed the color slightly to a kind of baby blue color there, just to add a bit of tint to the light. Opacity is at 16%. The angles are 30, distance 0, the spread is at 48%, size once again is 250, and I've got a bit of noise in there this time, just to add a bit of noise, more realism. And then what we can do now is we can literally just paint in some darkness or add our own kind of vignette to the scene, right? So let's just paint around what items we should think should be in shadow. Did I say that right? Let's paint the items we think should be in shadow to be in shadow. Yeah, let's put some black on the thing, and we'll start painting this in. You see how the rocks are getting darker now at the bottom? Let's add this and put this area here into shadow, all up around here. Just add a bit to the mood. Okay, so already that's kind of grabbed our focus to the center of the screen. So if I switch that on and off, it's grabbed our focus to the center of the screen. You can obviously turn the opacity of that layer down a little bit to suit the scene that you actually want. So let's go about there, just under 60%. Okay, cool. And now the next one is kind of, well, it's the same as what you'll do for dodge and burn. We're gonna add a layer, and we're gonna add a layer of light. This time I'm gonna bring the flow a little bit lower because white always stands out too much. Right, so I just wanna go on the inside of these rocks here, outside that rock. You just, where you see light already, try and add some more light. So just adding it around here. Okay, now granted, that looks a bit much right now. So what we can do is obviously bring the opacity down once again. That's all the way down to 0. Slowly bring it up till it looks somewhere nice. So around 25% to me looks about right. Switch that on and off. Just adds that little bit more of light, that little bit more of realism. So that basically, in a nutshell, is the edit that I did last week. It's a bit rough around the edges what we've done today, but you know, you can hone the skill, you can make it a little bit more nicer. So let's have a look at a before and after here. So that's how it was before, and this is how it is afterwards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this into Lightroom, and I'm just going to put a preset on it to make it give it this finished kind of polished look. So let's have a look how that will look. Okay, so these are the presets that I made last week for last week's episode. Let's go through them now. So this is the Halo 1 that I chose. And you'll see how much of a difference it makes to the image. So your image doesn't need to be perfect in Photoshop, but it's best if you can get it to look super nice. But when you bring it into Lightroom, you can really add some more character. So that's Halo 1. That's the Halo 2, a little bit too much. There's Halo City Cold, I guess. But then I have some of these old presets that I made back in the day anyway, and as you can see, some of these presets would work awesomely. Like, I made this preset, looks like a year ago, and it was inspired by a guy called Andrew Kearns. I don't know if you guys have seen him, but his photography is pretty dope. So I kind of liked his kind of cold images that he had, and I kind of made a preset that was very similar. So that preset looks alright on this. If I press Y so you can see the before and afterwards, you can kind of see how it would work there. So don't think that your images need to be super perfect in Photoshop, because afterwards Lightroom can really clean up your images and give you a pretty cool, slick result in the end. And I reckon if I made that circle look nice, I'll post that up on Instagram or something like that. Okay, so I'm hoping that that tutorial made sense. To me, it made no sense whatsoever, but it may have made sense to you guys, and I hope that you guys can make some images similar to this one using this orb light manipulation technique. So yeah, if it helped you, leave a comment below. I'd like to know how it helped, and if you can, tag me too on Instagram. I want to see how you guys are going to incorporate this into your photography as well. So that's it. There's nothing much more to say today other than I will catch you guys next time, and until then, happy hunting.